Hey, welcome. In this explainer, we're diving into a huge question, one that pretty much everyone asks themselves at some point, based on the first chapter of Nicky Gumbel's Questions of Life. You know that feeling, right? When you're just going through the motions, your job, your daily routine, and you just stop and think, wait, is this all there is? It's a question that everyone from celebrities to the person next door asks. It's a deeply human thing. So yeah, it's a huge question, and it's the one at the heart of our source material from author Nicky Gumbel. But what's super interesting about him is where he started from. Get this, he used to be an atheist. He thought faith was, well, boring, totally untrue, and had absolutely nothing to do with real life. The fact that he's the one tackling this question is pretty powerful, right? He gets the skepticism because he's been there. Okay, so when we get that feeling, that little voice asking, is there more? What do we usually do? We start looking for something to fill that gap, right? We go after all the typical stuff, success, more money, finding the perfect relationship. We think that's the thing that's going to finally make us happy. But the big question the book asks is, does it actually work? To dig into that, the book gives us this incredible real-life example, the famous author Leo Tolstoy. You've probably heard of him. He wrote classics like War and Peace. And let me tell you, this guy had it all. First up, money. He was loaded. He had a massive estate, and his books were bestsellers. So financially, he was totally set. Check that box. And it wasn't just about the money. He had fame and respect. He was a literary superstar. His novels are still considered some of the greatest ever written. So he had the money, he had the fame, he had everything society tells us to want. So what did he think about it all? This. After achieving all of that, he was left with this one nagging question. Well, fine. So what? Can you imagine reaching the top of the mountain and just feeling empty? All that success didn't solve his problem. It just showed him how big the problem really was. Tolstoy's story is a huge wake-up call. It shows that the usual answers just don't cut it. But for a lot of people, turning to faith for an answer feels impossible. And Gumbel says that's usually because of three big roadblocks, the same ones he had. Do any of these sound familiar? First, the idea that faith is just boring. Old traditions, stuffy rules. Second, that it's untrue, like just a bunch of old fairy tales that don't make sense. And third, that it's completely irrelevant. What does something from 2,000 years ago have to do with my life today, right? These are the walls people hid. But what Gumbel argues is that those roadblocks kind of miss the point entirely. He says that Christianity isn't really about a list of do's and don'ts. It's about a person who made one of the most incredible claims in history. And here it is. This is the heart of it. Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. Now, notice he didn't say, I'll show you the way or I'll tell you the truth. He said, I am it. That was a mind-blowing claim back then, and it's just as wild today. So what does that even mean? Okay, first, the way. This is all about finding direction. In a world that feels super confusing, with a million different voices telling you what to do, this is about having a clear purpose, a reason for being here that's bigger than just paying the bills. Next up, the truth. This isn't about having all the answers or being right all the time. Think of it more like having a solid foundation when everything else feels shaky. You know how life can feel like you're being tossed around by your emotions or what's happening in the news? This is like having an anchor, something real and steady to hold on to. And finally, the life. And this is the game changer. The book is super clear that this isn't just a new moral code. It's a relationship. It's the difference between reading a biography of someone and actually being their best friend. It's about a real, personal connection with God that gives life meaning right now and forever. This is supposed to be the ultimate answer to that, is there more feeling. Okay, I get it. The way, the truth, the life, it can all sound a bit, out there. So to make it really easy to grasp, the book uses this brilliant, simple analogy. Think about an old school TV. I'm talking black and white, rabbit ears, the whole deal. You've got the TV plugged in, but to actually see anything, you need something else. So check this out. Without an aerial or an antenna, what do you get? Just fuzz and static, right? You can sort of see shapes, but it's a mess. The book says that's what life is like for a lot of us. It's fuzzy, disconnected. And we might think that's normal because it's all we've ever known. But then you plug in the Arial, which stands for that relationship with God, and boom, the picture is suddenly crystal clear. Everything makes sense. You see the whole point of the show. And that's the whole idea right there. You just don't know what you're missing until you finally see the clear picture. It's like living in a black and white world and having no idea that color even exists. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Let's just set aside the whole boring, untrue, irrelevant thing for a second and just ask yourself this. If you could flip a switch and go from that fuzzy, static-filled life to one that's crystal clear, what would that actually look like for you? What would change? Definitely something worth thinking about.